Hi, this is Yvonne Galusha, and this little video is just to introduce you to VBA regarding borders. It's going to be short and sweet. So you can see here I have a range of data with headers and column information, and what we just want to talk about is how would you format this with borders. So going over to the VBA code, let's first just talk about how to get in and put a border around every cell in a range. So focusing here, we have a subroutine or macro that allows you to specify a range of ranges, and I'm starting with B2 because that's the data part, and this should all be familiar, XL to the right and XL down, and this is the part that's new, is we are using the borders property. And we're designating with the width 3 different things about the borders. We want to have line style continuous, and I put in comments here the other choices, and I think those are self-explanatory. And then we want a color of red. Again, I'm just reminding you, with color you can use the RGB notation, and you got to remember you have to look at the hex code for that. Then on the weight, we have these choices. I just went ahead and said thin, and this particular property is going to put border around every cell in the range. So if we run that and we go back and look, you now can see that we have a red thin border around every cell starting at B2. Now let's go ahead, we could remove those, and that's pretty easy to do. You can just see here it's the same range designated. The difference is now we're saying no borders line style. So borders, line style, XL, constant, none. So if we run that, now we look back, you can see our borders are gone. So that is pretty easy to take care of. What if we want to put a border around the entire outside of the range? So that's the next thing we'll focus on, is outside border. Again, we're using the same range, same technique, XL to the right, XL down, except this time we are using a border around property instead of borders. And remember the technique, when you have several attributes, you designate it with this operator. So we're saying we want the line style, instead of using a with statement, this is just another way to do it, all condensed into one line of code, XL continuous, then the weight, XL thick, and then the color, VB black. And if we run this little macro, and we look back at the range, we can see that we now have that black border around that entire specified range. So one other thing I wanted to mention was what if you just want borders on certain parts? And this is where perhaps like a double line at the bottom. Sometimes, especially if you got totals, you'll do something like that. So in this case, I'm just using the same range of ranges notation. Again, we're going back to the borders property. We're designating, though, we only want the bottom. See, you're saying XL edge bottom here. And of course, you can choose any other side as well. And the line style is going to be XL double this time. Now, instead of just running that one, let me just point out that we could do all of those with a separate subroutine, and this you can call another macro by just typing the name. In this case, all 3 of these have no input arguments. So here I'm running all 3 of the borders at once. And notice, again, you don't have to have call. Call's optional. In fact, remember when we call a function, we don't put the word call. So let's just run this macro and you'll see them all completed together. So going back, there you go. It's a little hard to tell, but that is a double border down here, and this is a single thick border. So I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you.